Fabio, welcome back.
How's it going, my friend?
It's going okay. It's World War III beginning. We're going to see the trilogy. I don't know if I want to see the end.
It's, of course we joke about it, but I have to say, I've been following the stories of some of my friends. It's terrifying. I have a friend of mine, a dear friend. She's a war journalist, and she's actually on the spot. And I was talking to her. I was like, is everything okay? Is the situation really the way that they are showing it to us on the news? And she was like, you have no idea, like this might be the worst conflict that she's been into. And she lives in Israel, she covers Gaza all the time. It's crazy. I don't know what the world has come to, honestly. But anyway.
Yeah, let's hope that we're gonna manage to release this podcast before the world is finished. And
let's hope that the war doesn't start at all. Let's hope that the guy comes to his senses and they stop this madness.
I come originally from Bulgaria, and I kind of know a little bit the Eastern European culture, and I don't know if this guy gonna step back. It's like I don't know if they have that option. The only option, it's that we isolate him in a long-term period, and then his own people take him down. Otherwise, I don't see any other option.
Let's just hope that everything will work out for the best way possible. I feel just sorry for everybody who's there and is going through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know a lot of people also from Ukraine, because there are a lot of people here. I'm in Germany. There are a lot of my friends, former university mates, and some of them are kind of lucky because they're already from Donetsk, so their family left already in 2000 something, the whole area. But anyways, today we are going to go back to the other topics so that we stay a little bit positive. We're going to talk about NFTs. And of course, the current topics also, for me, it's going to be very relevant because, I mean, there is the requirement of energy for the whole infrastructure to work. And maybe with this new situation, do you think this is going to postpone the standard utilization of NFT a little bit?
I honestly, this is a really good question. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I can tell you, there are a lot of conversations that are happening on spaces like Clubhouse and Meet. I don't remember the app anymore. I got invited and I listened to a couple of conversations where actually, the blockchain is already so intrinsic with the stuff that we do that actually we've been using it for a very long time already. And the emphasis that people put on the NFTs as a way of consuming energy in a disproportionate way, it's actually I don't want to say silly because I don't want to call anybody silly, but it's unmotivated because things like Amazon, Visa, all these main brands that serve us on a daily basis, they've been using the blockchain basically since the second or third wave that crypto has had. And so this is something that it's already at the base of a lot of things that we do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and but I guess that overcharging the whole network will be it will be difficult. Anyways, how do these big brands, in which way do they use the blockchain already?
So from what I understood, because I'm not a blockchain expert, but like when you get an Amazon order, right? The Amazon order basically is on its own sort of like an NFT. Now I might be saying something that it's totally stupid, that makes no sense, and so I apologize. As I told you, like the technical part, it's not really what I'm interested in myself, even though I should be, because it's part of the job that I do. But basically, when you get an order, an order is a single item that cannot be replicated. And the reason for that is that if somebody's taking care of that order, you do not want to have two people doing the same job and sending you a package twice. And this used to be very much the case in the old days, that, like jobs were divided and managed by people. And so maybe, one item will fall on the list of like 3 employees that would fulfill it at the same time. And then by the time that the order will be registered, it will be too late because the order will be shipped already.
Mm.
And so with the NFTs, the way that they do this is that the item exists in a very singular way, and that's it. There is no other way to take care of it. And so, the blockchain has been used for that. It has been used for like Visa transactions. Apparently, a lot of like the even like governmental institutions are using it to validate contracts. And so, like I was in a lecture in 2017 in Tel Aviv. This was really like a weird time to talk about NFTs, because it did not make sense back then about these digital contracts. And so, I did listen to the conversation, but I was not aware of the fact that you need digital contracts and what it means to, for a contract to be unique, until then the NFTs approached the art world. Because in art, the reason for having an artwork being unique is that you want to make sure that whoever owns it is the only owner, right? And so things started to make sense looking back, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and from what I understood, basically the main difference is between the blockchain, which will be like the infrastructure for the Web 3.0, and the current situation, is that everything we use now, we have already like sort of non-fungible elements in the internet, like the domains. But instead of being decentralized, they're usually centralized, so which means we rely on servers that are like
exactly
powered by whatever company you use. And the future is that this network, it works on this separate entity, and basically also your laptop or your computer will be part of the whole infrastructure.
Exactly. You will contribute to it slightly, but you will contribute to it.
And now, like in a year ago or so, the NFT exploded a lot across all creative fields because of people, because of course, he's been around for a very long time. And this was the perfect technology for his artwork to become like comparable to the classic artworks that we have, like from painters or sculptures, because you can now make every single piece unique and basically resell the art. And and then there are different projects since then that have become very popular, like VFriends from Gary Vaynerchuk. In Italy, Marco Montemagno. Well, I've had the pleasure to have him on too.
Did you buy into his project?
No, I didn't.
I'm actually still lingering myself.
Why?
Simply because, NFTs, unfortunately, every single project has sort of like a maturity with which you can go to market with. And so even though I do think that the NFT of Montemagno is great, I still think that it's a little bit too immature of a technology and of a system for him to keep building on it. Now, Montemagno, one thing that he has done, he has proven over time to be here for the long run. And so this is the thing that it's attracting me, that I know that, the guy is not going to give up tomorrow. And Italy always goes a couple of years after the United States. It could be that people will catch up. However, I do think that there will come projects because of what Montemagno has done which will be a little bit more successful in Italy, where it might be worth to invest money. You understand what I mean?
I didn't buy his NFT because of two things that he said during our interview, actually. Because one question I asked him is like, how you, it's not, it's, first of all, he said, like, if you want to understand what is a successful NFT project, you should see who is doing it. And of course, as you said, he's reliable on that. But he said the only way to, for example, ask him what is the way for a small player to do something successful with NFT. He said you should do something innovative, something special, so that you take the attention of the world. And what he did, it was not innovative. He just basically took the idea of Gary Vee and translated into the Italian market, which for his purpose works. And then it was not, the NFT was not really integrated to some, I don't know, DAO or something. It's just, there is this special.
But this doesn't worry me too much. Like, these things, they can come after, like eventually. Sorry, I interrupted you. I realized that I should stop doing this.
No, keep going.
Like, oftentimes I think that what people need to understand is that every time that you play into any investment, even crypto, you always have to look at the long run. Like, I'm now working on projects which have a roadmap of like 15 years. And these are NFT projects. Now, the majority of the money that is going to be produced when this NFT project is going to go to market is going to be made within the first few days. But the biggest return of investment is going to happen over a period of, say, 10, 15 years. Because this is how long it will take for us, first of all, to adopt the technology, but also to develop the market niche that we're going to need. And this is, to me, this is a done bet. Like, I do think that in 15 years from now, the metaverse is a little bit of a buzzword, but it's going to completely take over life as we know it. And we're going to be totally dependent on it. Now, if you ask me, okay, what does that mean? Metaverse is going to take over. Everybody has a very different view of how the metaverse is going to look like. I think that this is going to be simply an extension, a digital extension of our life, meaning we're not going to spend time, like in Ready Player One, in a fake world because we want to escape from reality. I hope that humanity will be good enough to understand that this is not the way forward. But I do think that, we're going to have an integrated sort of like digital extension of our beings in the real world. I can give you an example. If I give you a call, or like, for instance, you and I having this conversation, right? We're now sitting at home. Maybe in the future, we're going to have the technology that will allow us to sit in the same room together for the instance of this interview, right? Or if I need to control, say, the fridge or the oven with which I'm baking a cake, my platform will be something that will probably be, at the reach of my digital gestures, right? And so, again, we're making a bet on what the world is going to look like. I personally hope that we're not going to end up as in Ready Player One. Have you seen the movie?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you should because it's very interesting.
I'll check it. That's a good tip. What is it about? Give me just a little bit of a...
It's about, humanity living in this dystopian future where people escape from reality wearing headsets, and these headsets, they will teletransport you into a world which is totally fictional, and there are different worlds and different planets, And actually, this is one of the aspects that I do think that are going to actually happen. We're going to have different planets. We're going to have different places where we're going to spend time, simply because it's already happening in the real world. And so what's going to happen is that if I go to the cinema and say I go to the cinema A instead of the cinema C, the cinema A is going to have its own meta world, right? His own metaverse with which you can interact. And so I do think that this is going to happen. I'm already working on projects that are like that, and the investors are incredibly bullish on it. And to be honest, for the things that we have discussed and we've seen, it is exciting. It's exciting because it's going to make the life of a lot of people better.
I think one thing that is going to enable the metaverse in particular, it will be time travel. I think you can create a metaverse that's based in ancient Rome or ancient Greece, and you can just immerse yourself, but in the past. But I think that it's very scary because it looks like we're building the Matrix right now. But the latest events that are happening around the world, and if this escalation keep going, I think that we're gonna get distracted from this progress, because when you have this scale of conflict, no matter if it's military or just economical, this will, like, let's say if we have to have some energy economy starting next year because there is not enough gas supply, so we need to prioritize maybe food production or something, then of course this technology gonna slow down. So I don't know, now it's a little bit, every project, it's a little bit as you said, a bet, but we just doubled up the bet, so I don't know what is going to happen. I think there are multiple possibilities, and everything what it now seems like nonsense for a lot of people, I think it's always like when they started doing websites, and you would say, oh, I'm doing a website, and everybody are like, oh, why the fuck you doing a website? It's so stupid. Nobody gonna want it.
Man, I remember, look, it's not that far away, the time when people started to have websites and, started to buy them and pay people to make websites. I can give you a very silly example. In 2006, I started to work as an architect. I actually was studying at the time and I got a job. And I do remember architects that were still debating whether or not having a website made sense. We're talking about 2006, we had architects that were debating whether or not it made sense to work with AutoCAD in 2006. So, it's not that far ago. And so I do think that, as of now, a lot of people are sleeping on this, which is okay. Not everybody has to jump on the revolution and they have to start doing this work. You know what I mean? But it does present a lot of possibilities. I can tell you that in the field of digital design, which is the one that I'm involved myself, I don't know anyone who has actual time to work and help us out on projects because everybody's so busy. If you're good enough of a 3D artist, a modeler, right now you have a job. You definitely have a job. There is not enough people that can create all this content, right now, because everybody's working on projects like that. And over the past 3 weeks, I've had like every week 3 or 4 meetings of projects that people want to onboard us, and we cannot do it because we don't have enough resources. It's crazy. It's never been like that.
What kind of projects do you guys do? If you can share something, because the thing is, you said you're not very good at the technical part of the whole technology, but you're from the people that are not from Italy, they know you're from the area of Naples. which are the smartest people actually in Italy, despite what people think. There is a way
Don't
of
say that. Don't say that.
No, there is the way of saying in Italy that you have to bring out the Napolitan in you to be ingenious, to have smart solutions and to make things happen. So I think people from that area are very good communicators and very good in handling different exchanges, so to say, market exchanges.
I don't know if I already told you in the last interview, but actually being from Naples is a little bit of a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, you told me last time. Yeah.
And so, the curse is because, like, for us, working is a privilege, right? We are brought up that way. And so being able to work, it's like we're happy because we're able to work. On the other end, that is also a curse because it's a benefit because the people that you work with, they get always surprised of how much work you actually get to do. But it's also a little bit of a curse because it's like your value is diminished. And so in my life, I had to spend a lot of time trying to find the right balance, not to sell myself too short, but also being able to provide more services to people.
Yeah. But anyways, you're in the field where you're now repositioning yourself, from what I understood, because I've been listening also other interviews you have given also, I think, for the Control Z blog with Federico Biancullo. Mm-hmm. And so basically you're transitioning from, you've been so far consultant for other companies, you're back more with hands-on. You've been making a lot of images yourself, a lot of models, a lot of NFTs. And now you're becoming sort of this enabler for other people that want to start their own NFT project.
I'm still working as a consultant, basically. It's just that, like if before my job was to be more hands-on on the programming and the strategy of a company, now I'm really brought into the production and we're doing production things and I enjoy it. This is something that I miss because, like, I don't know if you know, but I stopped working in production in 2017. I did have a little gig with the guys at V-Ray Chaos Group, your Bulgarian friends. And, it was really good and it was fun because, making 3D is still a little bit of a game for me. And so, right now, I feel like I'm in a really good position myself personally, because I get a chance to work both hands-on and also strategically. People don't bring me in just to tell me what to do. I tell them what to do, and then I show them how to do it. And it's crazy because you get to work with a lot of talented people and you realize how important it is to know how to communicate properly so that, like you can enable people to understand exactly what it is that we need to do.
And what is it more about? Is it more about metaverses? Because a lot of people think metaverse is what Facebook is doing, but there are already some running virtual metaverses based on blockchain and so on. Or is it more NFT collections, DAOs? What is it the most required?
So it's a little bit of both. Like when we talk about NFTs and NFTs collections, one has to understand that NFTs are very often times ways to bring a project to market. And so say that I come up with an idea, right? That I want to make the new Tesla. It doesn't matter that it's not a digital product. I want to build the new Tesla, right? Now with the NFTs, I do not need to go through the process of creating a company and go with an initial public offering. I can simply go on the internet and say, guys, you get 10,000 NFTs of Tesla. Each NFT costs this much money. When you buy an NFT, at the end of the year, if the company value goes up, the value of your NFT goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. And so you become part owner of a company buying an NFT. And so now quite a few things that we're doing is creating projects, making a proof of concept, and going to market to see if this proof of concept is accepted by the general public. When the general public accepts it, we sell it, we raise money to continue building the project.
So basically it's more like, what is it called? GoFundMe, more or less.
Sort of, yes.
And now the skeptical voice on me would say, why should I do this and not just do a GoFundMe?
Well, first of all, like GoFundMe, it's really, okay, we're going to discuss a lot of great things right now, right? If you want to create an IPO, there must be some sort of legislation behind it. You know, you got to go public, and there are rules and regulations which are mainly instituted by governments. And this is something that the new economy doesn't really like. Rightfully so, I would add, because in many cases, governments, and you know, you could say that the pandemic and the war that is happening right now, it is proof that governments often don't do things in favor of their own people. They do things in favor of whatever it is that they are trying to do for themselves. And so this issue, it's overcome when you enter the blockchain, because the person is in charge, right? There is no middleman. There is no GoFundMe. Like, did you see the protest in Canada? How GoFundMe got blocked and they did not get the money to the truckers? Now
they got blocked also the blockchain wallets, no?
Yes, they blocked the Bitcoins. I don't know. But eventually the issue there is that you do not want to have governments interfering with the stuff that you're trying to do, right? Now, despite what it is that you want to do, like in the case of the protest, are you pro or against the mandates? It doesn't matter. You just don't want to have your government putting their nose into your stuff, right? Because then it's the government that decides whether or not what you're doing is right or wrong. Now, I did hear this thing of the Bitcoin, that some Bitcoins got blocked. I didn't really understand what was going on there, but I've heard also that this thing was not real. I don't know. I don't know anyway what is real anymore. It's just, you know, we live in this dimension where information is always tempered with a little bit. And so, you know, NFTs theoretically give you the possibility of overcome all this infrastructure that that doesn't really work.
Yeah, so it's basically, as we said in the beginning, decentralized. But another thing that also it's still gray is that when you buy stock market or you fund certain way a startup, there are some legislations, and I don't know if there's already legislation in place regarding NFT, which it's really still a little bit the wild west in the whole
thing. It is, and to be honest, like, maybe we should have said this at the very beginning of the conversation. People should not take this conversation between you and I as any sort of like financial advice, because like I'll be the first one to admit I still do not understand 90% of it. Like the economics and tokenomics of it are very wild to me, and I've tried to do like the buying and flipping, buying and selling, and I did not have very good results with it. What I am, though, is I do understand projects. I do understand the technical aspects of creating projects. I did see a need for somebody who would come in and actually help these investors with understanding how projects work. And so I'm offering that as a you know, skill set.
And another thing is now, for example, there are many ways to do NFTs. For example, what I know you personally did is I was watching one of your D2 lives, and you mentioned that the next D2 which will be finding place, I don't know, in this year. There
in
will
Vienna,
be,
yes, in
yeah,
August.
there were, I don't know if there are still or there were, but there were NFT
There
tickets.
were.
There were
Yes.
NFT tickets, so that means everybody bought them. And you use the NFT in order to get the ticket, and the NFT ticket was way cheaper than the regular, the normal
Yes.
one. And I'm curious, like, so the technical term the last few weeks I've been reading a lot, it's to mint an NFT, and you can use it with different technologies. The most popular currently, from what I understood, is Ethereum, and you do that generally on OpenSea, which is the market leader currently. And OpenSea works with Ethereum and what is the other currency they work? Polygon, which doesn't have these gas fees, which is also something that's tricky, because these gas fees, it's some fee that you pay depending on when you're buying your NFT, and it goes directly to Ethereum. And yeah, so it's also a tricky thing. But you guys didn't do it on OpenSea at all. What did you guys use?
We used another chain which is called Tezos. And Tezos, basically the advantage of this chain is that it's a proof of stake, meaning that every time that a transaction is initiated, the process of creating it doesn't run directly through Ethereum like the Ethereum chain does. And so you don't have to spend a lot of energy to actually create the token. But it runs on this idea of proof of stake, which again, like, don't ask me how that works. I just know that basically the tokens are finite as far as I'm concerned. And so the machines, they just work to make sure, to confirm that those tokens are the ones that have actually been created. The advantage, in other words, is that you have no gas fees. There are some gas fees, but it's like, to get a token, it's a cent or 2 cents or something like that.
But and with Polygon also, you don't have any, or you have still some?
You have very little gas fees on Polygon. Our choice was to do it on Tezos because it's also a I don't know. It felt to us like the next thing, the next big thing. Then we don't know. Maybe we're wrong.
And another,
again, I'm totally transparent. It's like, we're doing things, we're testing out things. We hope that they work. If they don't, they don't. But some people bought the tickets, and actually they were smart enough to buy more tickets, because those tickets, you can actually resell them using the Tezos chain. And since we got them for very little price, like I think very little money, the price was only like $50. We want to help people, monetizing. And so if you resell it to somebody for 200, you made 150 euros. You know what I mean?
And is it still true that when like, I don't know how it works exactly, but that every time an exchange of this NFT happens, there is sort of this fee that goes back to the original creator?
That's very true. So you can create a sort of like a royalty to the ticket. And so, for instance, I think that the one of the first teams in the NBA did that, the Dallas Cowboys. They created NFT tickets so that every time that somebody buys a ticket and then they decide to resell it, like, people do outside the stadiums and stuff, then the NFT, there is a little bit of money that goes back to the Dallas Cowboys, right? We decided, though, for the D2 not to put any royalties, because we really said, we're very community oriented with our activities. And so we said, if people are crazy and adventurous enough to buy a ticket as an NFT, which is basically a bet, and they're able to sell it to somebody else, they can keep all the money.
Yeah, I understand. And so for me, when I understood what exactly NFT is, because in the beginning was just, why should you buy an electronic image? It's total bullshit. But then I understood that it's this digital contract and can do way more. And this is the simplest thing that you could actually do is to define that this piece of art is original. So then I understood, oh, now we have had this cryptocurrency for so long, and everybody was saying, why should you have a cryptocurrency? You don't know what to pay with it. And then it seemed like you said that we're building now a second infrastructure. So we had the coin, and now we're building the infrastructure. Um, what are the main currencies that can do NFT? Can I do NFT with Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin is like the coin of all coins, and I don't know yet. I don't know why it's not the leader of NFTs, or what is what are the leaders of this.
I think that the issue, I've heard somebody asking the same question. Again, this is not a field where, you know, like I excel. Actually, this whole conversation maybe should be revised at a certain point, because like in a month I will learn more, and, you know, I will go back and tell you, oh, there I said something stupid, and there I said something that it's not true. But anyway, Bitcoin is a very expensive currency to transfer, to use, and to, you know, spend. And the more we advance with the mining of Bitcoin, the more expensive it becomes to create it. And so that's also the reason why the price is going slowly up, because, you know, in the very beginning, it only took a few hours to mine a Bitcoin. Now it can take days, right? Months, maybe even. And so Bitcoin has this as an issue. There are coins like Solana, even Cardano, I've heard. There is another one, it's called Elnorg, something like that, which is also an upcoming blockchain where it seems to be like ideal for minting digital contracts like NFTs. And so, you know, there are all these alternative coins, which seem to be a lot better for day-to-day operation. And the thing is that every coin, the value is dictated by how up and down Bitcoin goes. And so Bitcoin serves a little bit like the gold reserve, right? Now, the issue is that just like we did with the real money, that we stopped using gold as a way to back it up, there are a lot of like alternative projects which are coming out, which are not backed by Bitcoin, and they have their own system on which they survive and operate. And so again, this is not financial advice. Every time that you buy into a coin or anything, you, as of now, you still have to go in with the idea that you might be losing money.
Yeah, that's definitely, but I mean, that's why I said it's the far west, because if it was so easy and clear what to do, it would have been too late. Like the moment, you know, you have to join Facebook and Instagram and you want to become an influencer, it's too late. Like, and this was like, people are thinking, like a lot of people don't even know what it is exactly NFT, and they have this misconception, and that's why I'm talking about it, because for me it's not a problem that we don't have all the answers right away. It's just it's sort of a GPS function, you know. We say people go check this out and that out and figure yourself what make your opinion.
I totally agree with that statement. To be honest with you, you know, like this is a time where people should experiment. And, you know, like, I want to say, thank God that I'm in a position also financially and professionally where I can afford, you know, to test these things out. But, you know, like, I remember when I first heard of Bitcoin in 2013, and somebody wanted to pay me a bill that they owed me like 600 euros, and they wanted to give me 3 Bitcoins for it. And at that time, that would have been like 900 euros. And I was like, dude, this is stupid. I don't want that, you know, like, I do not need that. Just give me real money. And that was the classic thing. Then I heard again in 2016, 17, this is the time that I got into. I did my studies and research, and I bought some Bitcoin. I made a little bit of money with it. and then I sold it at 5K. At 5K, it started to go up at 20K. So I bought it again because I was like, this is gonna go to 100,000. Lost all my money because then it crashed. And so, you know, like up until that moment, I was like, okay, this is the future, this is the future. And then I got solely disappointed by the things that I did. Then slowly, because of the, you know, the conference and listening to other people using this technology, I was like, okay, you know what, maybe we should just invest and go slowly and don't play any games. You know, the games are for the people that can waste money. And there are people that waste money. You know, if you go into discords of like NFT projects and all these new altcoins that are coming out, there are people that throw away $100,000 like if nothing happened, you know. I'm not in that position, unfortunately.
I know that that was happening when there was the hype around online poker. Like
Okay.
online poker was another big wave of this roller coaster of up and down of money, and people were actually, there were people sponsoring players so that you can play and they would get a piece of your wins at the end. But another thing I'm curious is, so let's go through a little bit a quick overview of how do you mint an NFT, because you have done several. I guess you have also collaborated with some NFT galleries. I can be mistaken because I follow your social media and I see what you post, but I also have a full-time job, so I don't have the time to understand to understand the full story. But there are, for example, also I had Marco and I didn't have the time to ask that question because it was a talk about a different project on a different scale. But let's say I want to do an NFT, or I want to do 5-6 NFTs. Of course, it will depend a lot on where I'm going to do it and which cryptocurrency I'm gonna use. But what do I need to have? So wallet, stuff like that. And how much generally costs to me to mint an NFT? Because of course people see the price of that NFT, but I don't think that's like all the money or all the crypto value that the creator gets, because you have to pay something in order to make your NFT minted.
So you can start by going on OpenSea, OpenSea.io. This is the original website. Be careful because you're going to find a lot of fakes out there. They try to fight it, but as of now, there is so much speculation that people will go on the first sponsored page that they find, and they'll end up opening an account into a fake bot page. So you go to OpenSea, and then they will ask you to connect your wallet. Your wallet basically is like your digital life container, right? It has all the things that are related to your digital life ownership. Use MetaMask is probably one of the best, one of the most secure and the most mainstream one. Again, try to use the right links. Do not fall for the sponsored ad ones, because there's plenty out there. Once you have a wallet, you can either buy Ethereum by using a Visa card, or you could use your own exchange in case you have, say, Ethereum on Coinbase or Binance, whatever. Then you can send the Ethereum to your wallet. And at that point, you're ready to go. You can go on OpenSea, click the create button, upload your NFT. You can decide when you make your page what it is that you want in your smart contract. Do you want royalties? Do you want, I don't know, you can write anything that you want into the smart contract, but also into the metadata that comes with the NFT that you mint. And so, for instance, I can give a very simple example. If I make a piece of music, or another thing that happened to me is that some people bought my art because they wanted to use it for commercial purposes. And so you can actually write in the description of the project, look, this project, if you buy it, you buy the commercial rights to it, you know. I'm sorry. Any sort of like information that you want to include, you can actually put it into the metadata. The metadata is like simple description of your project. Then once it's done, you can mint it. You will have to pay a fee to mint your NFT. On OpenSea, depending on the time, like in Central Europe, if you mint it around 7:30 to 9 in the morning, you'll pay the lowest gas fees. Oftentimes, though, it can happen that when you pay the lowest gas fees, the transaction fails because it doesn't have the highest priority. And so you might end up losing the money. I tried to buy a couple of NFTs a few days ago, and I lost like
can you explain
$80.
Can you explain this step a little bit better? It means you can send your file to be minted as an NFT, but it might not work, but you're not getting your money back.
No, because you're paying for the blockchain anyway. And this is, you know, like another reason why we decided to go with Tezos, because if that happens in Tezos, you still are paying only 1 or 2 cents.
From what I understood so far, okay, OpenSea is the market leader, but it has a lot of these fucked up issues. So why it's the market leader and why is Ethereum still the most reliable one?
So, okay, it's not really the market leader, it's the biggest marketplace. Mm. And so because of that, it's easier, you know, to trust that institution other than another one. Like today I got invited to another marketplace, don't want to say the name. They did invitation and everything looked great. And then when it was about minting, they were like, yeah, if you want to mint, it will cost you $30 a month. I'm like, okay, so that's where the catch is, right? Everybody's trying to make money and everybody wants you, you know, to give them something. OpenSea is just the biggest one, you know, and it's a marketplace not only for art. You can actually buy ENS domains, which are these Ethereum domains. You can buy music, you can buy real estate as well. You know, there are people that are selling houses on OpenSea. And the reason why Ethereum is the most, I wouldn't say it's the most reliable one, but I think it's the most widespread because it's really easy to buy Ethereum. There are many services that allow you to buy Ethereum with credit card. That's an issue that we have with Tezos, is that you cannot buy Tezos with credit card. You have to go through Ethereum. And so I guess that this is the reason why it has the biggest adoption.
And what is the difference between Ethereum and Polygon? From what I know, they're kind of connected, no?
Yeah, Polygon apparently, again, you know, I'm telling you a lie right now. Polygon is what they usually refer to as the second layer, is a solution that it's built on the Ethereum chain. And so to simplify the way this works is that what Polygon does, it bundles up together many transactions that then are divided over one Ethereum transaction. And so whilst when you make one Ethereum transaction, you use, say, 10 items of resources in Ethereum, Polygon will use 100 transactions and bundle them to one Ethereum transaction, right? And so you will have a split of the value that is given by how many operations are bundled together by the Polygon blockchain.
Okay. And when you're minting for example, let's say we want to mint an NFT with Ethereum on OpenSea. Is what is based this gas? So this gas fee is fixed on based just on the time of the day, or is it connected to how much you want to make out of your NFT? How does this? What is the?
No, it seems like it's solely based on the time of the day.
And what kind of ratio we're talking about when you pay the gas fee? Like, what is the minimum gas fee that you could be paying? In
I
not
can
in
tell you when
Ethereum, not in Ethereum, of course. Tell me in like euro or dollars or some currency.
when I first started, the gas fee was like $5. I think I paid $4 for one NFTs, and I do remember that there were times where when the minting of an artwork was 500 euros, just the minting of one artwork. And the reason why people were paying that is because you could literally sell a picture of yourself naked and somebody will pay $4,000 for it.
But why?
That is not clear to me. I can only speculate that this was money, and again, I'm just speculating, money that these companies were putting into creating a hype for the actual utilization.
So you mean like the actual people that maybe own OpenSea, they would buy some shit just to be like, oh, this guy just did that stuff, and it's actually, like marketing.
For instance, there is a platform, and I don't want to say the name because I already got myself too much in trouble with that. But I saw, because there is the profile, and this is the thing about the blockchain, that everything is open. You can go into anybody's wallet and see how much money they have at a certain point, and how many artworks and how many things that they have. And there was in this platform, the founders of the platform were the ones buying the artworks.
Okay. So they would do it and they would buy it.
And so, no, they did not do it. They were just buying the artwork from some people. And so I was like, how is that possible that, like this artwork is selling? And so there is a bidding system in certain platforms where you see the names of the people that are buying things. And so I was looking at it and I was like, this is the 3 cards game that they play in Piazza Garibaldi and Napoli, the one where everybody is in the game and you think that you're winning, but you're not. You're just playing into the game of the people that are actually doing it. And I've been of this opinion. I've tried recently to use that platform to see whether or not I was wrong. Was not able to sell my piece of art, even though I do think that it was a good piece of art. I don't know. Again, like people need to go very slowly with these things. It does seem all great and good from the outside, but it's not. You gotta work with projects which are made by professionals, projects that actually have a utility. Unless you really like the art and you want to invest in a piece of art. Like, for instance, I have a good relationship with my collectors. Every time that they buy a piece of art, we then sit down and I help them with like the printing and the resizing. So when they want to buy it, they buy it via NFT, then they own the digital copy and the authentication that they are the sole owner. But I also help them with like getting the artwork printed and exposed in their houses. And I have clients in like Asia which have printed my artworks on 5 meters panels. It's crazy.
So that's interesting. First of all, I have 2 questions regarding purely the NFT in the art form we know it. So you've sold some of your NFT of your 3D images or computer generated images as NFTs, and
call them artwork. Come on, I'm really putting a lot of
artwork. I mean, I call them artwork, but they're CGI, like they're made by you.
It's still art.
Yeah,
still
no,
art.
I'm not saying that. No, I wasn't trying to say it's not art. One question was like, why most of the art right now looks so creepy? Like, your is not the case, but there are all these monkeys and all this pixelated stuff, which to me, I mean, maybe I'm too traditional, but I don't understand it so much. I could really, really well understand people's pieces of art because that's like really, really good stuff. But now there are these monkeys, these pixel something, they're called pixel, I don't know, there's a collection of sort of pixelated.
The CryptoPunks.
CryptoPunks exactly. Why is this style, and what are the specialties of these collections? Because as we said, the specialty of an NFT is that you can program to it some certain features. So what are the specialties, for example, of the art you have done, and what are the most interesting features that we can find around in these marketplaces? So when somebody wants to go and eventually not make an NFT but buy an NFT, what should you be paying attention to?
So the projects that you're describing, they're referred to as PFPs, and so these profile pictures projects. These projects, they have, their existence is based on the same mechanisms of hype that are generated by companies like, say, Supreme or Yeezy, right? You own one of them, and you're one of the few that own that stuff. And people use it, as avatars on the internet, on Twitter, on Instagram, and whatnot. Now, the idea behind it is just for you to own a piece of a very limited collection to show off to people. And the crazy thing is that, now there are applications that allow you to show this kind of stuff in real life. There are jewelry designers which are designing Apple Watch holders so that you can have your PFP attached to your neck. Or, there is people that have designed Apple Watch holders for the rings. And so you can have the Apple Watch as a ring so that you can show your PFP at all time. There are people that are embedding this into their cars. You can buy, it's always with the Apple Watch. I don't know, probably because the program that allows you to do that runs on the Apple Watch. But you can put it on a car, and you can have your PFP or your avatar on the car on display. It's really just like owning a good watch or owning a good pair of shoes. You have it and you want to show it to people. I don't know if you followed the rappers. At a certain point, there was such a hype around the Bored Ape Club. Rappers were buying a picture for $100,000, $200,000, and then they would go around with the picture on the neck in their golden Apple Watch holder that looked just like, I don't know, maybe if you have a chance later on, Google it and put it up as I speak so that people have an idea.
I'll be Googling a lot this episode so that people can, while listening, they could also see on YouTube what we're talking about.
And so, there is a lot of hype around all this kind of stuff, and it's understandable. One of the most successful projects as of lately was from actually an Italian guy. His name is Giampiero. He worked for Justin Bieber, and so he created this collection called the In-Betweeners. Is little like teddy bears, very cute. And those are PFPs, and so profile pictures that people are now using to identify themselves on the internet. And people are putting them everywhere. And the perks of these PFPs is that you get a chance, to receive merchandise. You'll have a chance to hang out with Justin Bieber, depending, of course, on the rarity of your PFP, because that's another thing that probably we should discuss, is that not every PFP or not every single picture is has the same quality as the other one. Some of them are rare, like out of 10,000, only 1 or 2 people own those pieces,
Mm. And how about your piece of art? Like, what do you, when some people gonna buy Fabio Palvelli NFT, do they get also just NFT ownership, or are there other features that you are attaching to your NFTs?
So I tell all the time, and I'll never get tired of saying this. I never say to the people that buy my art to buy it as an investment. I cannot guarantee any sort of return on it. what I do it because I love it and I love making art. And actually NFTs has enabled me to create art and to sell it as an artist, because before it was actually very difficult, you know, to enter into a gallery, into a physical space and convince people to sell your art. Now you can simply go on the internet. If you do something that it's beautiful enough, people will buy it. Apparently, it seems like it's not always the case. But anyway, what I do it with my heart. You know, I put it out there, and if people want to own it, when I sell it to them, I tell them that they are the only owners, and so I delete the file that I've created it with, so people can be they can rest assured that they are the only owner of the artwork. And that's all that I can offer them. You know, they're buying my art and they're supporting me as a person. And hopefully, you know, if I do something good with my life, 30, 40, 50 years from now, whoever kid of this person is going to own the NFT that I've created, they probably have a little bit of value that they can, you know, play with.
And
they
another
can have some inheritance.
Yeah, another thing that is also curious is in order to when you own the NFT, you have this wallet, which is the you mentioned before, one of you can have a Coinbase wallet, or the what is called the other one, Meta something. MetaMask, and they are also like physical wallets, right? So they look like sort of a USB stick, something particular.
Those they're referred to as ledgers.
And do you suggest that it's more safe to put your stuff into a physical ledger to keep your NFTs on the long term? Is it safer?
In reality, the concept is the same. Like the only thing that people can exploit when they can access your wallet is that maybe you left your computer online and somebody logs into it and your wallet is open and they, you know, can find your seed phrase. The reality is that, you know, the level of security should be high enough for you not to have to worry about your online wallet. However, the ledger, the advantage is that it's just like the wallet, but it's disconnected from the internet. And so, you know, unless you have it plugged in, people cannot access it. With that said, there are many flaws in different protocols that people still exploit to access the stuff that you own and steal it, you know. It happens all the time. You hear it all the time. Again, everything that we discussed here is not financial advice. People should really take it slow with these things, especially if they're just starting out, you know.
Now, well, we have disclaimed that this is not an educational talk. It's just to give an overview about the situation. And what do you get? I've never bought an NFT, so I don't know. Because I really don't know. Like when I go on OpenSea, there are some crazy prices. You can buy stuff for, I don't know, 1,000 euros, or I don't know. I don't have that kind of money to buy something that I don't know. But what do you get when you buy one? Like, so the whole thing is that the image, it's kind of not the most important part, because that can be still a JPEG that you can copy paste theoretically. If people don't do like you do, that you delete the file and you tell the people like, this is the only file. If you fuck it up, then you fuck it up. So what do you get when you buy an NFT? You got the JPEG and some sort of piece of code of the blockchain.
You get a basically you get a transaction on your wallet that shows that you have a token inside, and that token is made by whatever company that you have agreed to buy the token from. And that's all.
And you don't have even the image, actually, like the JPEG?
You do have the image, you have access to it, but the reality is that everybody has access to the image.
Okay, so
now there are some services that allow you to download, for instance, the high res. And so, for instance, in you know, in other platforms, you buy the thing and then you unlock the content that it's locked with your NFT, and you can download the high resolution of an image, for instance.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
But it's, again, this is not like, and this is, I think, also where quite a few artists have made mistakes in the past, is that, you know, they just, you get the image and that's it. You know, like when I get a collector that buys my stuff, I want to know who that collector is, because I want to have a relationship with them, you know? And so if I make something and they like it and they, you know, want, oftentimes, especially with the arts, collectors just want to support you, you know? They buy stuff from you just because they know that they want to be part of your journey. And actually, with a lot of artists, you know, like I could show you with my camera around, but all these things that you see out of focus, blurred, those are all artworks that I buy from independent artists. Actually, some of them are laying around because I don't have enough space where to hang them.
And you bought them as NFTs?
No, I bought them as it was in the old days.
In the old days. Nowadays, but if you don't buy an NFT, it's like you didn't buy anything.
No. To be honest, like one piece of art, I bought it a few months ago and it's still laying on the floor. It's a beautiful piece. I wish I could show it to you, but I know that the camera is not gonna let me. But it's a real piece of art and it's from an NFT artist. Mm-hmm. And so I went to see him in his atelier and he had this piece. Price was good enough for me. And I was like, you know what? If I get it, I know that I'm part of your success. And this guy ended up doing the NFT collection that YouTube gave away to his creators. So, you know, this guy is actually a relatively famous artist now.
Yeah, that basically you should be inside the world of this form of art and look around for the names. And of course, it's not Beeple the way, unless you're not a millionaire, but someone around that realm, and look around. And where do people actually get your NFTs from? Where do you selling them? Where are you selling them?
I still have some on OpenSea. I have one on Foundation. If they come to my Instagram page, they will find all the links if they're interested.
And another very, very interesting thing is like, okay, you make the NFT, you put it out, you sell it. How do you report it in your tax return?
So this is a really good question. Like, still gray area, and I'm still bullshitting at this point because we don't know if it's true. We'll find out this year. In the DACH region, we are in a relatively good place because they're relatively flexible with like assets of value. And so, you know, if you keep stuff in your wallet for longer than a certain time, you don't have to pay taxes on it. But myself, I can tell you already that I get paid in Ethereum oftentimes. And so for the services that I do, I have to declare the transactions and I have to pay taxes on it. In Switzerland, it's good because the due to the volatility of the tokens, I get taxed at the end of the year. And so theoretically, unless I cash out the Ethereum or whatever coin it is that they give me. So to make you understand what I mean is that, say that I get paid 1 Ethereum for a job. This Ethereum in January, when I get paid, is worth 3,000 euros, right? If I cash it out straight away and I get the 3,000 euros, I get taxed on the 3,000 euros. If I wait until the end of the year, I'll be taxed on the value that that piece of Ethereum has at the end of the year. And so if the Ethereum will go down to 1,000, I will get taxed on 1,000.
Okay. And what is the difference?
Like, so the difference is that if the Ethereum in January is 3,000, say that I pay 20% of taxes, I will have to pay 600 euros of taxes on it. If I wait until the end of the year and the Ethereum goes down to 1,000 euros, I could say, you know what, 20% of 1,000 euros, it's 200. I'll pay it out of my own pockets, but I'll keep the Ethereum in my wallet. And so when the Ethereum goes back up to 3,000, I won't have to pay taxes on it.
Okay. So you have to, I understand. So basically you wait the whole year and you pay the percentage on the value at the end of the year. And then when you sell it, it's like non-tax.
Exactly. But hold on, let me specify on one thing. You would have to pay the taxes on capital gain if the money, you cash it out before 1 year. But if it stays 1 year in your pocket and it goes up in value, then you don't have to pay taxes
Yeah.
on the capital gain.
Yeah, I know that if you keep it longer than a year, you don't pay taxes. But I didn't know that if you, at the end of the year, you have to pay the tax on the.
If it's for work, of course, you have to.
And if I just buy it privately and it's my own thing, I don't pay.
No, then it's your own money. Yeah, you don't have to pay anything. Actually, in theory, you should pay. You should pay taxes. If you buy, say, one Ethereum and the Ethereum triples in value, your government might say, well, you need to pay capital gain tax on it. And that depends on every country. Like, I think that the DACH region is in a very good place. Also, the Netherlands, because the taxes are very low on the capital gain. Already in Italy, it's high. It's like 20%, I think.
In Germany, it's 15. On capital gain, it's 15.
Capital gain, okay. I think that also here in Switzerland is 15. I don't know. I heard that in Italy it's high.
It's 20 something in Italy, 21 or 22. But like this is just on capital gain, so people don't have to think that without, like in Germany you pay a lot of taxes, but they amount together with other things. That's not only capital gain.
Again, everything that we discussed, not financial advice.
No, yeah.
Problem, Georgi.
No. Like I have said many times, this is just a conversation where people just listen and they know, okay, there is this issue with taxes. Let me go Google how to tax ... in country NFT. And then they can, we are doing just talk, chit chat. You have some more practical experience, but it's nothing theoretical, or it's not an advice to do stuff.
But again, like I really want to specify this again. Like my experience is more on the strategical, executional side of things. The stuff that I'm learning, like contracts and all that, oftentimes I cannot even follow up when people explain it to me, because it's completely different from everything that I've done so far.
And I'm going to ask you the same question because you said you're expert in the strategical point of view. And I asked the same thing to Marco Montemagno on the podcast we did together. Is okay, you are an artist and you're doing now, from what I also heard, you're doing like the everydays. You're doing an image every day for I don't know how long now. And there are other artists that are doing a lot of good work. Like we had Revilo also on the podcast. I think if you want to buy an NFT from Revilo, it's legit because he has done also I don't know how many everydays. But if you're somebody that's, let's say it's me, like I'm gonna be open with you. I have the idea to do something with NFTs, but I don't know yet what. What for you could be an interesting strategy or approach for someone smaller that is starting out and want to do not a speculative project of NFT to say, okay, let me do some NFT to just cash out, but to do some strategical project with NFTs. What are for you some interesting approaches that you might consider or that you've seen around? Can you share something about that?
This is a very broad question. I'm afraid that I'm not going to be able to, answer in a very focused way. I think that when you're small and you don't really have an idea behind what you're trying to do, then you're basically selling what you're able to produce with your set of skills, right? And so when that is the case, I would just say to people, you know what, try it, do it, go for it. And whatever happens, in the worst case, it will be a nice experience. It will be something that will teach you something. The projects that I get involved in, they have a functionality. They have a, people are able to use them somehow. And so what we try to do with those projects is to make sure that the concept works. So that, if the person has an idea, like, if somebody comes to me and say, yeah, we want to do this project, which is about teletransportation. I'm like, okay, do you have the technology to actually teletransport somebody? No. Yeah, maybe it's not going to work. If though the person comes to me and say, look, we have this app that can, help you with tracking of food and whatnot, and we can give it to people so that people can use it to deliver food faster. We need to implement this in a graphical way so that we can explain it to the investors. Then, we'll go in and we'll create all the stuff that it's needed for the communication. And this is, where we excel. We have a team of branding experts. We have a team of people that can actually help with the social media stuff, because this is also very important, to make sure that people understand that this project is a real project made by real people that actually exist. We have a team of like developers that work on the actual implementation of the technology that is designed. However, you have to always understand that when you create a product that goes to market, the implementation takes time. And so a lot of people will buy an NFT, buying into the idea, and then after a month, they will be like, yeah, nothing is happening. I hate it. I'm going to sell. And then they actually end up losing money, because whoever buys that NFT and holds to that NFT, they gonna develop a they're gonna get a return on investment, because then when the application is developed and it works, they'll get a share of whatever it is that they end up buying.
I understand. So basically you're putting out the infrastructure for people that have a different business idea to bring it on the blockchain sort of technology. But
yes.
Yeah, so, and in those projects where it's based on functionality, I guess art is not so important, or is it still important?
I tell you this, like those who create good projects, they will put an emphasis also on the art. Like they're not gonna do it with a token that looks like shit, because it's like in architecture. I hear oftentimes architects fighting whether or not having good renderings, it's a must. And the way I see it is that good architecture goes hands in hands with good communication. Now, it could be a rendering, it could be a diagram, but if you do not have that information, then you should ask yourself questions as an architect, as an investor, talking to an architect. Is this really a good project that they put a lot of thought and effort in it? It's a legitimate question, right? Same thing goes with these projects. If you see a project that maybe it's a great idea, but like they don't have a social media, they don't have the infrastructure to do that, they don't have the money to do that, then those are red flags, because it shows that probably these guys are trying to raise money and run away. Mm-hmm. And in the NFT world, that happens a lot.
Yeah, I know because also Montemagno was saying there were a lot of clones of his project. And that's another question, like what are the regulations if I, for instance, now I go on your Instagram account, download a couple of images, go mint them and sell them? Can you do something about it?
In reality, I cannot do anything about it.
So you basically can go on the internet, take any JPEG, like, I don't know, and people say it can be also another kind of file, like I could mint a podcast, like I could sell the audio.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, that whoever buys it, they need to make sure that this is actually legitimate, because I can go after whoever has bought my image and say, you do not have the right to use that. And they will say, well, I bought the NFT, and I'll be like, yeah, but this is not my wallet. and you can show them which one is your wallet. And my wallet is called fabiopalvelli.eth. And so there is a name to it. So if you're buying one of my pieces of art from any other wallet, it will not be a legitimate wallet. The same thing, it's like saying, okay, this guy bought the Mona Lisa in the street and now he's claiming that it's the original. It's not.
Yeah.
And you can get fooled into paying thousands of dollars. Like, that's another thing that people should be careful with. If you go into a project that you think it has potential, usually these projects exist within the Discord channels. That's where most of the communication happens. You will have a lot of people that will message you and say, oh, you've been selected to mint. Come and mint for 0.1 Ethereum. You're lucky, it's your lucky day. And then you go and look at these collections, and you will see that these collections, they might have sold like 10 Ethereums of fake NFTs.
Yeah, for instance, now Twitter is turning a little bit more in the crypto social media. And I'm also on Twitter with a podcast, and I've every day Elon Musk and Vitalik are adding me for some giveaway lists. And it's so funny because if you see my notification feed, it's like Elon Musk add you to this list. And then 10 minutes later, Elon Musk add you again. So Elon Musk is constantly adding me to some list. So in order to wrap it up a little bit, because I don't want you to get divorced, and it's kind of late in the evening, and World War III is unwrapping maybe. This, what I figure out until now by trying to learn more about it, is that's very scattered information, and it's very, very difficult because as it's something new. Of course, this is something that creates reluctancy for the people, but it's also where the opportunity lies, because it's not so easy to, if it was easy to go read and think, then it doesn't work. So where would you suggest to get information about it? You mentioned you go on Clubhouse, on some other social media. Now there is Twitter Spaces. Can you suggest, again, just suggest, not give advice, but suggest like some reliable sources of information on the topic?
Look, information can be found anywhere, and people should be able to get information from everywhere. My only recommendation is that you really need to pay attention, because we live in a society where we don't know what's real anymore. We don't know what's true anymore. We can go back to the example that I was making before of the war now in Ukraine. I've heard people having really good arguments about the reason why Russia is doing this, and some other people calling them out because they were like, no, you're lying, this is a lie, it's not like that. And so it's like, where do you stand? And where you can stand is where your brain can actually take you, right? We are smart, all of us. We need to use our brains, and we need to understand things. And so if you're listening to somebody that is telling you, oh, this is a great opportunity, jump on this right now, you should be careful, right? It's not something that you want to jump head first. You got to take it easy. You got to not be wild when it comes to this kind of stuff. Give yourself time. You don't have to rush into things. Do understand that, as of now, we are at a very early stage of everything. If you want to go into this and really understand it, you'll have to spend hours. And I mean it, every single day on Discord, asking people, trying to understand what it is that people are doing, which projects people are doing. So far, the safest projects to invest are usually even the more expensive ones, because if somebody has a track record of projects that have created something and that have made people money, then those projects will be a little bit more expensive to get involved in. And I can give an example. Like a few months ago, you would mint the average art project or PFP project or, you know, like crowdfunding project for 0.07 Ethereum. Now good projects, the starting price will be 0.25. And so this is like 4 times higher, right? It's normal, you know, if you have a good project with a good team, and the team, you know, like right now I was also talking to people that work in social media. Hiring somebody to take care of your social media, you can easily spend 10 grand a month, you know, on having just somebody that takes care of your social media. It's a full-time job. You gotta be skilled, you gotta be you know, you gotta have the competence to do that, but it will be expensive. And so, you know, like the good projects will cost a lot of money. That's why you need to take it easy, and you don't have to jump into everything. And, you know, like take it easy, do your research, listen to, you know, like if you go on Clubhouse and you just look for NFTs, you'll find a lot of spaces where people have conversations and talk about, you know, different projects. But you'll also get dragged into a lot of projects that are not worth it. It's a little bit the Far West, as you said.
And can you suggest some Discord channels that you have been visiting to get some information?
So the Discords are always about projects. They're not about the topic of NFT, or maybe there are some, I don't know, I haven't found them. What happens is that when you find a project that you subscribe to, that you like, there will be a Discord channel where people will discuss the project. And so you will have an idea whether or not this project is serious, if the people that are actually doing it are, you know, putting their heart in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Well, then, Fabio, I think we have covered the surface of NFTs. So I think we have
maybe not even that.
yeah, but at least a little bit of an overview for the people that are interested into this. I think that for me also, it's probably a lot of the people that are listening to the podcast are not so excited about talking about NFT, because I guess there is a lot of skepticism across the board. But for me, it's important to have done a little series of conversations about it, because for me, this is like the .com boom. It's the first time that I'm in an age where I could get involved in something that it's shifting the way we work and the way we use the internet. And so thank you very much for taking the time. Despite
My
all the
pleasure, man.
Despite all the talks of NFT, I want to conclude as usual with a positive note of inspiration. I'm going to ask you if you can, out of the spot, you could share with us maybe something that you have been enjoying consuming, like a podcast or books or movies the last few months, to get you pumped up and inspired with your creative work.
There is a book that I now keep beside my bed, and that's because it's a very small book with very small phrases, and it helps me sleeping at night. And it's called Abloism, and it's a book from Virgil Abloh, you know, the designer.
Yeah.
I've been a big fan of his for many years now. I'm you know, big off-white person. I'm also into sneakers. Those things that you see at the back are shoes, actually. I have a wall of shoes in my own office because I like to look at them. And this book is really, it's little phrases and bits of conversations and interviews that Virgil gave throughout his life. He recently passed at the age of 41, I think. Very young. He had cancer and he was battling it silently without anybody knowing. He was in charge of like the art direction of Louis Vuitton. So it was a big deal. And this book really shows such a humane side and a humble side to this guy, which I find extremely inspiring. You know, looking back at my life and some of the things that I might have said in the past, I do realize that, you know, like the qualities of a good human being it's really difficult to be genuine and to be focused on your journey, right? Then you read things like this book, which they basically make you understand, hey, you know what? You might have said stupid things. You might have said things that maybe now you don't agree with anymore. This is part of what being a human being is like. And so you should embrace it, because it's not only the good things that we do that define us, but also the contradictions. And so, this book really brings me joy and brings me calm. Like, as I tell you this, I feel like tearing up, because, knowing that such a great man passed away recently, it's heartbreaking. But it's a book that I would really recommend to anybody. Just read it. It's very inspirational. You will read it in one day, because it's literally little phrases. And in the morning you'll get up and you'll feel like you want to do something good with your life, and you'll get to work.
That's a great way to finish the podcast with this. I love to learn about all these books, and most of the books that have been suggested to me I've bought. So I will do this with this one the same. Fabio, have a good evening, and you're always welcome back in the future to share your projects.
Georgi, thanks a lot for having me. You're doing great with this podcast, and I'm very proud of it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.